Ребят, всем большой-большой привет! Сегодня я хочу пройти задание легенд Навии. Саму Навию я получила вчера, то есть ко мне она пришла. И сейчас узнаем ее историю, познакомимся с ней поближе. Итак, нам нужно ее найти. Где же она у нас тут стоит-то? Где-то должна быть рядом.
Well, if it isn't my dear partners.
Привет, Навия.
That voice. It's Navia.
Да, здравствуй, здравствуй.
I didn't expect to run into you guys here today. Are you headed somewhere?
Идем на поиски приключений, да.
How about you, Navia? Are you still busy rebuilding Poisson?
Сейчас узнаем, чем у нас Навия
We've wrapped
занимается.
up most of the rebuilding, but there are still a few things left to take care of. Stocking up on materials, confirming construction timelines, discussing compensation terms with families affected by the disaster. Between all of that, I've been making a lot of trips between the court and Poisson.
Да, но ведь сама спина Дирасула тоже пострадала. Почему ты
Well,
компенсацию-то
though the
выплачиваешь?
victims have received relief payments from the court, in my opinion, as the administrators of Poisson, Spina di Rosula should take some responsibility as well. Our
Понятно.
financial situation right now isn't the best, so all we've been doing is signing agreements for the damages to be repaid at a later date. Though just pieces of paper now, they demonstrate our commitment. They're necessary to restore the people's faith in us.
Oh, spoken like a true president. You're a really responsible leader. That must be taking up most of your time, though, right?
Oh, you bet. Between that and all the other errands I have to run at the court, I'm always forgetting one thing or another. So before I came over this time, I took a page from Melusa's book and decided to make a list of everything. This
Да,
way,
ты
it's
записала
easy to see
и...
which tasks you haven't checked off. And then,
И
since Melus loved using shorthand, I decided to also follow his
решила
example
придумать
and
свою
come up with some
скоропись.
shorthand of my own. But after running a few errands in the city, I'm kind of struggling to even
Все с
read my
тобой
own
понятно. То есть
handwriting
ты
anymore.
записала, а теперь ничего ты там не понимаешь.
That does sound like you, all right. So what kind of shorthand did you use?
Oh, wanna take a look?
Хочешь посмотреть, да?
Let Paimon see.
Раскрычки
Wait,
какие-то.
this looks like a piece of kelp wrapped around a stick.
Палка, обмотанная морской капустой, кабан в коробке.
The first one has to do with confirming the final payment amount for the fishermen, while the second one
Напоминание попробовать новый
is a
гамбургер
reminder
в
to try the
городе.
new...
Okay, Paimon can definitely see how you might forget what each of these mean.
Может, говорит, стоит просто писать словами?
Thank you for your advice. These are the kinds of things you only really figure out once you've tried them out yourself. I thought that as long as I understood my shorthand when I came up with it, I'd be sure to remember...
Well, now you know for next time.
Что-нибудь
Anyway,
придумай
I should
другое.
have already taken care of most of the things on the list. There are still a few symbols that worst comes to worst, I'll just make another trip.
Ah, so you're going to head back now?
Так, ты сейчас домой
Yep, that's
собираешься.
the plan. Oh, actually, since we talked about the reconstruction earlier, you
Конечно,
said you don't
поехали
have
к
any
тебе в гости.
plans, right? So we can just catch a boat and head over.
It's a bit sudden, but Paimon doesn't see why not. What do you think, traveler?
Да, нам не помешает
Then
немного
let's go.
отдохнуть.
We'll take a boat over.
Поедем на лодке.
Oh, you mean the aquabus, right? Like the Clementine line?
Аквабус по линии Клементину повезет.
Oh, sorry.
Нет,
I meant our own boat. The aquabus doesn't have a station near Poisson,
Конечно,
so...
давай.
All right, follow me. I'll take you there.
поехали. Вот сейчас мы поплывем на
The
этой
engineer
лодке.
is still doing a few routine safety checks. We can head out as soon as we get.
So, Paimon has always wanted to ask. The 3 aquabus lines are all named after people in your
Все,
family,
говорит, 3
right?
линии водных путей в фонтейне названы в честь членов твоей семьи, правильно?
Yeah, that's right.
Да, верно.
Callus and Навia are
Алис и Навия, все ясно,
self-explanatory,
без
while
объяснений. А
Clementine
Клементиной
was the
звали
name that
мою
my
мать.
mother went by.
If you provided the Mora to build the lines, then why isn't there even a dedicated line to Poisson? Spina di Rosula built all the lines, yet you still have to take a special boat just to go home.
Сейчас узнаешь.
What I heard is that most of our businesses don't actually use Poisson as a hub. So there was no real reason. You are right that it is a bit strange, though. If you've already committed to build
3 большие
3
линии
lines,
уже
why not
построены,
just
почему
add a
бы не
4th?
достроить 4-ю?
Yeah, that's what Paimon's saying. The aquabus is so convenient.
Сейчас мы
it's
возьмем
really
да
a huge
построим, в
shame.
чем проблема?
Well, it is what it is. You know what my father was like. Even I often struggled to figure out what was going on in his head.
Наверное, он не один принимал решение по такому большому проекту.
But that would only be the case if he cared about what others thought. My father was always really stubborn. Once he made up his mind, good luck getting. From what I've heard, the rights of all the other members of the Spina only went as far as giving him advice or.
Huh. Well, that explains why you weren't on the greatest of terms with him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just let him keep getting his way. He was just not very agreeable.
Boss, the boat's ready. We can head out.
Так, лодка готова, можно отчаливать. Поехали.
All right, then let's head out.
Отправляемся. Дикая роза, 1 глава.
It'll be a while before we get to Poisson. Let's keep talking.
Давайте поболтаем, конечно же.
Navia, what was your mother
Какой
like
была
as a
твоя
person?
мать?
Oh,
Но-
I'm sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her at all.
That's all right. I've heard many stories about her from the rest of the Spina. They've always said that they were sure we would have gotten along famously. While my papa was stiff like a board, my mother was supposedly super cheerful and funny. Their complementary personalities
наверное, на
allowed
маму
them to make up
похожа, я
for
так
each other's
думаю.
flaws. My father would run the businesses and expand our reach, while my mother would keep the peace and make sure that everyone was happy. Their work made sure.
Sounds like they were not just a well-matched couple, but fantastic business partners as well.
Yeah, but those are just stories and anecdotes after all. It's hard for me to piece together a more complete or intimate picture of her. But sometimes, I'd still look at the Clementine line and wonder, would the Spina and Poisson still be what they are today had my mother survived? Silver once said that a name is a kind of inscription, a way to etch a memory into the world. When given a name, a cold, inanimate object can gain a completely new meaning. So, I will always associate the line with her in my heart. Over the past few weeks, I've also begun to appreciate how water can take in and hold our most intense feelings and memories, as well as how one may reflect on their past. I've lost many beloved people and memories to the sea. Even though I cannot stop for them,
Да,
the
не
fact
грусти, все
won't
будет
change that
хорошо.
they existed in my life and gave me the reason and motivation to
Ты по ним
move forward.
скучаешь? Ну, конечно.
Always. But no matter what, we can't change. But I tell myself that I need to keep looking towards the future. Everyone. Besides, I'm the president of Spina di Rosula. I've got to keep my chin up.
Что все ты восстановишь, и я думаю, построим и 4-й путь, возможно. Может быть, не сейчас, но позже.
We've reached the shore.
Причалили.
Let's go. I'll show you the new Poisson.
Пойдем посмотрим.
Navia, do you think she's
Как ты
doing
думаешь,
all
как
right?
Навия справляется? Да.
Okay. Paimon supposes you're right. She's really been through a lot. It couldn't have been easy shouldering so much by herself.
Пойдем. Не проще ли было как-то сразу мне туда телепортироваться? Ну-ка. Это что-то прям очень далеко идти. Вот. Совсем другое дело. Шум воды. Так. Медуза висит.
Boss, you're back.
Флоран, босс, с
Traveler in
возвращением.
Paimon. Welcome back to Poisson.
Спасибо.
Hey, fancy seeing you again, Florent. Is it your turn to take care of Navia now?
А теперь он заботится о Навии, возможно.
Hey, I can totally take
Я
care
теперь
of
сама о себе
myself.
могу
For
позаботиться.
the time being, we did hand over some of Malus's old responsibilities to Florent, though. It's been really nice to have him around.
Thank you for the compliment, boss.
Да не за что, Флоран.
As you see, I've been working closely with the boss on rebuilding Poisson.
Помогаешь восстанавливать боссу Поссо. Это хорошо.
Mr. Malus was an extremely capable and respected member of the Spina. I've got some...
All right. There's no need to be so formal. Everyone's practically old
Это
friends.
здесь все
Were you
свои.
waiting here for me? Did we manage to make any progress on the statue?
Есть новости по памятнику.
Yeah, we contacted a sculptor about the job. But they
Какой
can't get
памятник
started
мы
on sourcing a
строим?
correctly sized block with...
You're commissioning a statue?
Да, памятник кому?
So basically, we've been meaning to
Памятник
commission a
моим
statue of
родителям,
my
чтобы
parents
люди
in
знали, как
commemoration of
много они
everything
сделали
they've
для
done for the
Спина,
Spina
для
and the
Рассула
town
и
of
всего
Poisson.
Пуассона.
But since my father was known as callously unfaithful for the longest time,
Алас
it
бесчестный.
would have been too controversial to commission it. But now that his name has been cleared, and the town is also being rebuilt, I thought this would be the perfect...
The funds to build the statue were
Понятно.
freely donated by the people of Poisson to show their appreciation for Miss Clementine and Mr.
Нави
Callis
говорит, а
and
тебя
everything they
изобразят
did.
вместе с ними. А зачем?
Me? I'm just the newbie president that's running around and causing everyone trouble. Maybe we can have
Памятник
this
при жизни
conversation
обычно
again
как-то
in a
не
few
ставят.
decades, once I've done more for the town and the people.
Hey, there's no need to be so
Нет,
humble.
не
Just
скромничай.
help save the entire...
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe that Boss should have a place on the statue.
Hey, if you keep inflating my ego like this, I'm... Just kidding. There's no
Я
way
думаю,
that
это
I'd
вопрос
accept that
времени.
kind of Thanks for the vote of confidence. I just don't think I'm ready yet. Anyway, Florent, now it's up to us to confirm the final design, right?
Mm-hmm. We can ask the sculptor to start looking for a good block once we've decided on the poses for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callis. But we haven't had any real discussions yet on the possible designs. I feel like I should get a few promising designs first.
There's no need for all that. Let's decide on a... Hey, you! Come over here with me.
Куда ты нас там зовешь? Я? А что будем делать?
Modeling a few
Позировать.
poses, of course. Here,
Как-то
didn't you say on
да.
the boat that Callis and Clementine sounded like great partners? Well, then there's no one better to fill the... Florent, let's grab some reference shots.
You've got it, boss. I'll go get the camera.
Давай наши фотки.
Well, what do you think? Got any ideas?
Есть идея.
Well, I've actually discussed it a bit with Florent before, but I could never come up with any fresh or original ideas. It's probably because my idea of them is already kind of set in stone. So, I want to pick your brain for a bit and see if you can come up with
Все-таки
some
жалко,
new and
что главные
interesting
герои у
ideas.
нас практически совсем не говорят. Очень жаль.
I'm all good here, boss. Feel free to start posing whenever.
Хорошо. Внушительную позу. Смотрите вдаль.
By that, do
Давай,
you
смотрим на
mean
корабле.
as if we
Стоим
were
на корабле и
standing on a
смотрим в
boat
море.
and looking out at the sea?
Давай
Sure.
попробуем.
Let's give that a try.
Готово.
Whoa, you really remind Paimon of a
Капитан
captain
корабля
and a
его
first
главная
mate.
помощница.
Look over there, my dear Clementine. As you can see,
Пойман.
every tree on that island is dripping with mora fruit.
Тебе все только
But
деньги.
there's something off with the composition. This pose makes Mr. Callis.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Давай
Then let's
поменяемся
swap.
местами. Так.
Well, Paimon is a fan. A statue like this would look fantastic on...
Wait, but we can't do that. Very few people would see.
But then, since we're putting it in the town, the whole point of the pose would be.
Oh, okay. We'll
Надо
try
еще
to think
что-то
of something
придумать.
else.
Внушительную позу давай попробуем.
Imposing, huh? Oh, I've got it. Let's try this.
Мгм.
This pose. It makes me
Эта поза
recall
напомнила
Spina
мне
di
о золотом
Rasula's
веке
glorious
Спина ди
golden age.
Расула.
But isn't Clementine's pose a bit too...
Клементина
bold and
кажется
heroic?
дерзкой,
Was she
героической.
really
Она
that
такой
kind of
была.
person? If we were to stick with this pose, maybe people would wonder if she was actually the real boss behind
Опять
this.
не то, да?
Well, tabloids did indeed speculate as much back in the day, but the Spina pulled a few strings and.
Oh, Paimon was just kidding!
What Florent meant was that we asked the journalist to... You're right, though, that this may not accurately represent the image of her in our hearts. Let's try to come up with something
Остался
else.
третий вариант. Радость.
A happy pose. You mean something like...
Мгм.
Would all that be able?
Would we even be able to tell what they're...
Yeah.
Да.
And that'd probably be a massive pain to sculpt.
Could one of you try striking a pose like you're...
Мгм. Еще.
That actually
Тоже не то.
hard to pull off. Forget...
Как-то все не так. Вот так, да. Вот. Тоже не то. Целый день потратили на съемки.
We tried a bunch of different ideas, but none of them felt right.
Oh, don't worry. We still got a lot of reference shots out of the session. And each of them can be... Man, if I knew I was going to do a photo shoot with the Traveler, I would have prepared a lot of out... Oh,
А теперь у тебя останется
outfits!
куча снимков.
Ah,
Целый альбом
that's
можешь
the errand
сделать.
I
Помнишь ту
forgot back in the
девочку?
city.
Адель.
Do either of you still remember...
Oh, Paimon remembers her. She was the one that we met while investigating Mr. Callis's case, right?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. So, after the case, she was finally willing... I said that it's fine, but young children are not allowed to join the Spina. She will just have to wait a few years, and then we'll welcome her with open arms. But how could I get her to believe that I meant what I said? In the end,
Так, униформу нужно подарить ребенку.
I'd have
Сейчас
a
мы туда
Spina
пойдем,
uniform
скорее
made
всего, я
and
так
give it to her
понимаю.
as a gift. But I got so busy and distracted in the city that I forgot to pick the uniform.
Don't worry, boss. I can send someone to pick it up right away.
Да мы сами
In the matter
сходим, не
of the
переживай.
statue, we should still come up with a few...
We could have just done that from the start. Yeah, you're right. They'll have some value as souvenirs at least.
У кого еще есть такая куча снимков вместе с Навией? Только у нас.
Навia! Florent, guess who's back?
Колтер. Не ждали?
Huh?
Но ведь ты
But aren't you?
Oh, well, if it isn't
вернулся из
Coulter.
крепости Миропит?
Back already from the fortress of Mirapi.
Вернулся.
That's right. I finally finished serving my time. After I got out, I immediately made a beeline back to Poisson. You'd say
Запах
that
рыбы.
familiar. You wouldn't believe how much I've missed Melissa's
Жареной
grilled
рыбы.
fish.
Всем.
I dreamed about it every time I had to get a welfare meal down there underneath the sea.
It's good to have you back, Coulter. You look as well as ever.
And this
Кто
guy is...
он?
Ah, let me introduce you. This is Coulter. another of Spina di Rosula's members.
Что же он такого натворил?
Looking at it now, it was probably
А, то
another
есть
one of
это все было
Marcel's
подстроено,
plots while he worked
понятно.
at the confrérie of Cabrières.
Марселем было
Wait, Mr.
подстроено.
Marcel? What do you mean? He
Что
was
ты хочешь
involved in
сказать?
some sort of...
Have you not heard anything at all about the water from the primordial sea case?
Нет, он, возможно, там ничего не слышал о воде первозданного моря.
Well, I know that Fontaine got flooded, but then the water levels miraculously receded. I thought that was all there was to...
Oh, looks like we'll have to explain everything from the top.
Ой-ой-ой, сейчас ты ему будешь рассказывать все с самого
First things
начала.
first, let me introduce you to these two. They're my most trusted partners, and they've been with me through thick and thin.
Давай мы
Oh,
лучше
nice to
куда-нибудь
meet you.
сходим, а ты
I
ему
don't
все
recall
расскажешь
Navi
как
ever
раз.
generously complimenting anyone like that before. So you must be pretty amazing to get that from her.
Yeah, we are indeed
Ой,
pretty
Паймон.
amazing. But we've been cool since before we even met her.
Давай мы просто следовали примеру Навии.
Humble again as always, I see. Even when I was totally sincere with my praise.
Nice, nice. Spina di Rosula always seems to attract great people. Oh, that
Спасибо вам.
reminds me. Where are Malus and Silver?
Мелиус и
Aren't they always
Сильвер.
by your side?
Но, к сожалению, они погибли.
About
Coulter, a lot of things happened while you were gone. As you can see, even Poisson isn't quite the same as...
they lost their lives, keeping me safe during the flood.
What did you say?
Да, вот, к
This
сожалению,
isn't
так
some kind
получилось.
of morbid welcome home prank, right? You're just scaring me on purpose because
I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
Мелисса тоже погибла, да.
Malus and Melissa,
Да, и
Dead.
Мелус, и Мелисса.
they're just gone. Malus. I was planning to give him a surprise gift once I ran into him again.
Hey, keep it.
Malus and Coulter were friends for many years, and even served on many missions together during the early days of the Spina. I can understand how he feels.
Oh, let's sit down somewhere, so I can tell
Да,
you
расскажи
everything
ему
that has
всё,
happened while you were
пожалуйста.
gone.
I...
Поговорите с Коултером. А как он далеко от нас, Коултер-то? А, где-то наверху. И туда придется бежать.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
Куда же вы там залезли там? Пока до вас тут доберешься там. Нави рассказывает обо всем, что случилось.
All of this. It's unbelievable.
Да.
I can't believe that those...
I think you and I both feel the same way about the profound tragedy of Melusa's loss.
I
Марсель
thought Mr.
оказался
Marcel
таким
would
подлецом.
always stand by the Spina. Everything he had, it's unconscionable to have received all that, and yet still plot to kill.
The good news is that the confrérie of Cabrières is no more. Gone with them too is the entire synth manufacturing and distribution network. We finally closed the curtain on that long struggle.
Are you sure? But if Marcel wanted to rebel against us, he probably sent word in
Еще
secret to
какой-то
Romeo.
Арамёв есть.
Romu?
Да, кто это такой? Я
Not
тоже
a name
впервые
I'd heard
слышу это
before
имя.
either.
Florent should remember him. You see, there was once a major internal dispute. Romeo was the leader of the
Арамёв
faction that
возглавлял
thought
партию,
to
которая
Jabbat some
придерживалась
more would be
мнения, что
better
столь
spent
значительные
improving the
суммы
town of
лучше вложить в
Poisson.
развитие Пуассона.
But Mr. Callis believed
Господин Каллас
that an
считал, что
opportunity to
нам
collaborate with the
представилась
court of
редкая
Fontaine and the
возможность наладить
Fontaine Research
сотрудничество с
Institute was
властями
hard to
Курда
come by,
Фонтейна.
and would allow us to build many valuable relations. Not only would the Aquabus be a good business investment, it would also boost our reputation among the general populace, eventually paying
Да,
us
строительство
massive
водных
dividends
линий
down the
действительно
line.
было выгодным проектом.
But the two couldn't come to an agreement. Romeo ended up taking a lot of people with him when he left Spino di...
Ugh. And with Papa's stubbornness, I can definitely imagine how it must have gone down.
And of course, when he was suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous injustice, those relationships...
Yeah. You could say it was the price he paid for sticking to his beliefs.
Oh, that's a good point. If Callus was really as stubborn as you say, then wouldn't he have
Oh, yeah. It eventually became a thing that just happened on every day that ended with Y. But not... It used to be a lot better with taking counsel, with him listening to our advice, and... But on the matter of the Aquabus, even Ms. Clementine completely stood by Mr. Callus's side.
Huh. I never knew. But from my perspective...
I think the Aquabus was just the straw that broke the camel's back. On that
Какому же
topic,
такому
they
радикальному выводу они пришли?
believed that Miss Clementine lost her ability to serve as an
Стала
impartial
пристрастной.
mediator when she became pregnant with
So...
То есть
they
они
thought
решили,
she
что она
had
предала
betrayed
их?
them? But that doesn't make any sense. Before she was their mediator, my mother was also her own person. And...
Yeah, but to them, even taking a side was betrayal enough. They felt like their voices could no longer... Of course, Ms. Clementine then passed away, and Mr. Callus began to regard the completion of the Aquabus...
So that's what happened.
From
Да.
that point on, Romeo and his people cut ties with the Spina. It never gave us any kind of... Perhaps they've regarded us as enemies ever since they left. But even so...
I've also heard that they aren't in a good financial position, so they've been lying low for a while.
I think Coulter's got a point. Both Marcel and Romeo had my father in their sights for a very long time. Even though Marcel's faction has been dissolved,
Сейчас
we
мы
still
пойдем
don't know
искать
anything about
Ромео, да?
Romeo's whereabouts. If they're... With how distracted and vulnerable we are, now would be the best time.
Good thinking, boss. We should keep an eye on them at all times. I'll let my men know right away.
Thank you for that, Florent. And Coulter, thank you for telling me about this
Мы
as well.
такие с Навией вместе, угу.
Don't worry, it's nothing. Do you have a moment
Может,
right
говорит,
now?
прогуляемся немного?
I've heard so many
Пойдем,
incredulous
погуляем.
things today. I'm...
Ah, in that case, why don't we go back to the court? I
Форму
can pick up
заберем.
Adele's uniform. Want to come with me again, you two?
Of course. That...
Then let's go! Paimon feels like a lot's hinging on this visit.
Хочется увидеть будущую звезду.
We really are the best of partners.
Пойдем посмотрим, заберем форму. Так, куда же нам тут идти там? Так это все-таки сверху или внизу? Это у нас получается где-то наверху. Ладно, выбираемся. Поднимаемся. Прям лазишь, как этот
Are we
альпинист.
not taking the boat this time?
Паймон думал, что мы поедем на лодке.
It's nice to walk from time to time,
Мы
isn't it?
пойдем пешком.
Think of it as something like a hiking trip. Once we're there, we can stay a...
Как далеко нам идти? То есть нам идти всю дорогу пешком. Ну, замечательно.
Sounds good. I haven't walked this road in a long time.
Пойдем погуляем по побережью. Смотрите, какая красота. Вот мы пришли куда-то.
Well, we've walked far enough for now.
Пора
Let's take a
отдохнуть
break.
немного. Мгм.
Since we're out for a walk, we shouldn't...
I've grown old, so I'm not as fit as before.
Well, Paimon thinks you're doing great. You didn't have to...
Back in the days before the aquabus lines were built, we often had to hike north with our goods, then catch a
Часто
boat to the
приходилось идти с
court.
грузом на север, оттуда на пароме переправляться в Кур-де-Фонтейн.
Malus and I must have traveled this way hundreds of times. When we were tired, we would lay
Отдыхали
down
на
for a
траве,
while in the
голод
grass. When we were
утоляли
hungry,
свежей
the
рыбой.
spina was still on the rise back then. Mr. Callis was generous, and everyone had the chance to strike it rich. And now, in the blink of an eye, the aquabus lines have been built, and this road is... Oh, I know. I was just being a little nostalgic.
Then let's stay here a bit longer.
Не хотите
Anyone
пирожных?
want snack?
Oh, is this another
Конечно
chance
же
to try
хотим.
some of Navia's macarons? Paimon's been dreaming of them.
А как ты их будешь готовить?
I figured you wouldn't say no to a few more. Oh, wait. Let me check if I have all the ingredients. Okay.
Так, печка есть, а продуктов, естественно, у тебя нет. Нет муки и сахара. Ну, самого главного, конечно, нет, да?
Would you? Oh, but
We should contribute to making the macaron too.
Угу.
that's
У
great.
нас с собой все
Then
есть,
I'll
сейчас мы
Then
тебе
I'll go
дадим.
look for some boxes nearby for...
Great. Then I'll prep the stove.
Вот тут растут. Специально для нас посадили. Держи.
How did it go?
Конечно, у нас с собой все есть. Забирай.
You've all done your part. Just leave.
Ой, что-то там у тебя взорвалось.
Oh, these macarons look and taste magnificent.
Да, твои пирожные
As
вкуснющие.
good as ever, Navia.
Boss's baking skills have always been famous. Everyone in the Spina knows how exceptional...
Oh, it's just a hobby. There's no...
Have you two seriously never considered joining us? You're so close to the boss, and she obviously trusts
У нас
you with
впереди
all
еще
her
другие
heart,
важные
so...
дела.
I see. Is that why you have to always...
You just happened to walk in on our little reunion. Adventurers never stay
Да,
in
мы
one
давно
place
уже
for
не
long.
виделись, не
The name of
встречались.
Spina di Rosula would just tie them down. Besides, after everything we've been through together, I'm sure our hearts would
Да,
remain
здесь Навия
intertwined.
права
Even if
полностью.
Paimon was far beyond the horizon, she'd still remember the delicious taste of Navia's macaron.
Угу.
I understand now. Then I am very lucky indeed to have... I will endeavor to make the most of this short yet fortuitous encounter, and enjoy...
We've got no wine with us, but let's still toast with water in celebration of this moment.
Кто там?
Cheers! Hey, what are you doing? Quick, join
Да,
us.
за
May
вас.
your travels go smoothly, may the Spina continue to grow, and may our friendship last until the end of time.
Кто-то там за нами
All
подглядывает.
said? Let's move out then. I asked some old acquaintances in town to make Adele's uniform, so we should be able to pick it up right away.
Сейчас мы узнаем, кто за нами подглядывает. Так, нам нужно ехать сюда. Здесь забрать форму. Где она там? Вот она стоит. Здравствуйте. Мы к вам пришли забирать форму.
Hey there, Ludovine. How's business lately?
The demoiselle of Spina de Rosula. I must say, your generous patron...
Nonsense. We all know what a talented businesswoman you are. No, man.
My mistake, my mistake. I just got so used to calling her
Она говорит,
Demoiselle.
простите, демуазель.
Are you here for the uniform?
Мы пришли за униформой.
I forgot to drop by earlier when I was running errands around here.
I didn't expect Demoiselle to come and pick it up in person.
Navia's always liked to take even small things seriously.
Hey, that's not the only reason I'm here. There are few things more uplifting than taking the first step on a new...
Boss has got a point. Going on a trip...
Very well. Please,
Да,
wait here while
давай
I
неси
retrieve
нам
the uniform.
форму.
Can someone remind Paimon again why Adele wants to join the Spina?
She hasn't given me any concrete reasons. After we cleared her father's name, she became a lot more cheerful and outgoing. It's probably... She said she used to be terrified of Papa.
А кто же там за нами
as a result,
подсматривает?
she found all the rest of... But the Spina is very different now. She mustered up the courage... Yeah, you could say that. By uncovering the truth, she said that she wanted to become someone like me. Someone who could lend a hand...
From the sound of it, she'll be a wonderful addition to the Spina.
I think so too. But for now, let's focus on giving her a great atmosphere to grow and thrive. She can
А
commit
ты
to us
чего за
when
нами
she's older,
подсматриваешь-то?
and can really make that decision for herself.
Значит, не послышалось, да?
Is something up,
Что
Traveler?
такое? За нами хвост. Какой хвост?
Oh, Paimon's coming.
I'll go check it out too. Coulter, please hold on to this for me.
All right.
Зачем ты нас преследуешь? Побежали.
Stop right there!
Ну да, таким темпом, пока мы тут добежим. А куда их столько бегут-то? У них тут кросс. Пробежка, да? Стоять.
We knew you were going to be difficult.
Мартинат.
Seems like if we want them to talk, we're gonna need to teach them a
Brothers, there's no need to skulk in the dark anymore.
Ты на нас, на девчонок, решил напасть? Тебе не стыдно? Я вас тут сейчас одним зонтиком запинаю.
umbrella warfare, I guess. Hiya! This one's got your name on it.
Все, готовы? Нет, ты тут еще остался. Чего там меня пуляешь?
Ow!
Ах ты ж
I'm
какой!
fine. Feeling lucky.
Засранец. Все?
Now talk. Who are you?
Кто вы
And why
такие?
were you tail?
Вот теперь полежите, отдохните.
Don't think we'll let you off easy if you keep silent.
У нас везде есть свои люди. Да-да.
How did it go, boss? All
Да
right.
не, мы не ранены, все
If
нормально.
you thought they stood any chance against us, anyway, stop playing tough and start talking. There won't be any room for negotiation.
Wait, we're looking to get vengeance
Хотели
since we were
отомстить.
discovered, and can't beat you in a fight.
Get revenge?
Так, вы люди Рамёфа?
You're...
You actually know that
Значит, тебе
name?
это имя знакомо, да?
But
Знакомо.
if you do, then surely you should understand why we hate you so much.
Остынь. Точно.
Indeed. You haven't got the faintest hope of winning right now.
We were out drinking when we saw Навия. We got so angry we decided to follow you. Too bad you guys messed up ours first.
Ну, тут мы вам подпортили. Ты лжешь. Вы следовали за нами всю дорогу до города.
You're pretty sharp. But so what? We didn't do anything. Seeing you like that just really ticked us off.
Listen. Callus is long dead. No matter what happened, I am the current president of Spina di Rosula. If your boss wants to talk, I won't press charges for your attack. That should also help demonstrate my
Такое ощущение, что у
sincerity.
них тут мафиози какие-то. Она глава клана одного, это глава клана
I
другого.
understand. Thank you.
И разборки.
I'll let our boss know.
Передашь, да?
But
Но мы
if
с тобой
you so much
встретимся.
as think about pulling something like this again, I won't be.
All right, we get it.
Идем.
Are you sure it's okay to just let them go like that, Navia?
I don't want to inherit my father's grudges, too. Moreover, if the other side is willing to talk, I'm happy to open the door for a reconciliation.
I support Boss's decision as well. The concept of an eye for an eye is a primitive practice.
Yes. Plus, we already know that they're strapped for cash. If their financial situation is that, I still think we should keep an eye out for Romeo's folks, though. If he decides to ignore the warrant, then we could still have a fight on our hands.
Yeah, those guys definitely didn't look like big fans of yours.
I'd rather things not go that far, since
Ты думаешь, не
though
дойдет
we
до
haven't
битвы?
talked to each other
Yep.
Что-то
That's how
как-то
I
я
feel as well.
сомневаюсь в этом.
Anyway, now it's getting late already. So why don't we stay the night in the Fleuve Cendre? We can head back to Poisson tomorrow. I'll also ask someone to write
Пойдем.
Florent a letter and inform him of everything that happened here today, so he can increase security.
Do we have to stay in the Fleuve Sonde again?
Там даже подушки пахнут водорослями.
Sorry, that's just what happens when you live near water and don't get much sunlight. Poisson's we can still go out in the evening for some grilled fish and drinks, though. Bet you there'll be people singing sea shanties, too. How does that sound?
Сесть в ресторанчики, выпить, поужинать жареной рыбой. Конечно.
That does sound pretty cool.
Паймон тоже хочет спеть.
On board now, let's go!
Паймон, ты поешь? Отправляйтесь во Флёр Санс. Отправляемся. А где он у нас? Под землей, что ли? Подожди. Так, пришли. Музыка такая.
Coming back here really does feel like this place is starting to grow on Paimon.
И как ты громко, Паймон, что ты говоришь?
If you think about it, it would be kind of weird if the Spina's base at the court was some super luxurious building like the Palais Marmonia.
Totally. Right on the money, Paimon. Although, of course, with the continued growth of the Spina, Papa wanted Poisson to eventually grow into a metropolis, not unlike the court. He was a very ambitious man, who rarely looked behind or beneath him. For better or worse, that always made him stand out from the crowd.
And that's also why people hated him just as much as they loved him.
All right. Why don't you go wait for me at the restaurant? I'll go do some prep and I'll get someone to
Давай,
tidy up. You can
приготовь
use
нам.
the same room as last time. You still remember the room number, yeah?
Напомним.
Yep. Kinda hard to forget when there are only so many rooms here after all.
Oh, did I just hear someone taking a dig at Fleuve Cendre?
Oh, Paimon, sorry! Please have mercy, Navia. If you do that, then Paimon really won't be able to
Сейчас
sleep at
кто-то
all.
договорится у нас тут.
I was just kidding. Be on your way
Пойдем.
now.
Куда нам идти? Что вы хотели? Не буду тебя беспокоить. Вообще, присесть хотели как бы. Угу.
Hello?
Кто там?
Are you asleep yet?
Нави?
Oh, no, not at all. I just figured that since we don't get to enjoy nights like these very often, wanna go fishing?
Хотите
I've got some rods
порыбачить?
and lures ready.
Пойдем, конечно.
Oh, so talking about.
Hopefully I didn't
Обязательно.
wake you or anything.
Нет, говорит, что ты.
You don't have to do any actual fishing if you're too tired. Just think of it as keeping me company. How does that sound? Okay, let's go.
Пошли, пошли. Сейчас мы как поймаем какого-нибудь кита или тунца большого. Вкуснющего. Порыбачьте с Навией. Это нам нужно выбираться наверх. А мы сейчас вплавь проплывем. Полюбуемся красотой подводного мира заодно. Также мне нравятся эти звуки. Настоящие звуки подводного плавания. Так, давай. Выползай. Ух ты, тут прям удочки на кита. Кажется, рыбалка удочка автоматическая. Да.
What's the problem? Lots of people in Poisson use rods like these.
But shouldn't fishing be all about, you know, attentively watching?
Well, that's one way to enjoy fishing. What do you think, traveler?
Самому рыбачить интереснее, да?
Let's try regular rods next time.
Тогда в следующий раз будем ловить простыми
Honestly,
удочками.
Paimon's mainly shocked at how much energy you still have at this hour. Usually by this time of night, it's...
It might just be something that runs in my family.
That's a thing?
И все, говорит, наследственность.
I'm sure you'd get even sleepier if I delved more deeply into it.
И матери.
Anyway, my father always had a lot of unrealistic expectations for me. But the more that he tried to get me to become... My mother never had those kinds of expectations, though. I've heard that she had only one wish for me, which was that I would have a happy and secure childhood.
Ну, наверное, все мамы так хотят,
All
чтобы
the
дети
members of
росли
the Spina
счастливыми.
greatly respected her wish. So no matter what I did as a child... Can you imagine? Whenever my father wanted to scold me for something I'd done, no matter what Papa yelled, nobody else would say a word. Eventually, Papa must have recognized scolding.
Paimon would have never guessed.
Yeah. Looking back on it now as an adult... When I was young, I often thought that I could do whatever I wanted. But once, I saw Malus come back wounded. He wouldn't tell me how he'd been injured, but I learned then that there's always a cost to making a mistake. The more you care, because if you do falter...
Навия, успокойся, не плачь.
Sorry. I shouldn't have brought that. Basically, I was just saying that the nurturing
наша там
atmosphere of the
рыба-то?
Spina must have been my mother's legacy, rather than my father's. And if that's the only way that I can continue to feel her love, then I'd like...
Is that why you let those guys go today?
Although, maybe there's a part of not wanting to repeat the mistakes of the past. Hey, look!
Оливия говорит,
I
у тебя
think you've got
клюет.
something on the line.
But why isn't the rod
А почему, говорит, удочка сама не наматывает леску?
There must be something wrong with how I installed the mechanism. We can't let it get away.
Хватаем,
Two. Let's...
мотаем.
You want Paimon to help too?
Тоже давай лови. Там большой тунец. Я так и думала. Дальше на вашу удочку постоянно клюет, а Навия почему-то не может поймать ни одной рыбы. Почему же?
You didn't attach a hook.
Ты что, забыла повесить крючок? Блин, Навия.
Stop wasting time! The boss ain't gonna wait all day!
Так.
We'll go ahead with the operation tomorrow. Do with that information...
Well, your rod was missing a part too, so... I guess...
Well, if we're just talking about the number of missing parts, sure.
Пойдем спать.
All right. Go to bed. I had...
Доброй
See
ночи,
you
ага.
tomorrow. So how was last night? Did you get a good...
Paimon dreamt that she danced with the sea stars.
Танец с
So
морскими
you can say
звездами.
it was.
Где ты этого понабралась?
I didn't know you had such a great sense of humor.
See, this guy gets it.
Угу.
Anyway, let's head out. I'll arrange for a boat to take us back to Poisson.
Так,
I
поехали к
hope she'll
Адель.
really appreciate your gift.
I hope so
Отвезем
too.
подарок. Отправляйтесь в Пуассон. У нас здесь, скорее всего, задания все выполнились. А заберу заодно. Примагемчики лишними не бывают. Но, Фурина, ты чего там уселась-то? Куда нам ехать? Сюда, да? Это опять под землей, что ли, да? Отправляемся. Вот мы и пришли.
Adele, we're back. We brought you a
Адель
gift
говорит,
from
мы
the court
вернулись.
too.
И привезли тебе подарок.
Whoa, thank you so
Спасибо,
much,
босс.
boss.
Да,
Don't call her boss, okay, Adele?
пока что зови
Just
сестрица
Miss
Навия.
Navia would be fine.
Мисс
Oh,
Навия.
it's all right. I don't mind. Besides the gift, I've also got another surprise. Guess who's here?
It's been a while.
Привет.
Oh, it's you two. It has been a while indeed. Thank you so much for your
Блин,
help
ну
on
даже
Jacques'
NPC-шки
case.
какие-то разговаривают, а мы как эти. Молчим.
I've heard that you also helped save all of Fontaine. You're truly just like the great heroes of legend.
You're really amazing. And if Miss Navia's your friend, then she must be super amazing too. What's in this thing? Can I look?
А сейчас мы тебе покажем,
Of
да.
course. Go ahead.
Конечно, открывай. Вот тебе подарок. Смотри, настоящая форма. Ого.
Oh, it's a Spina di Rosula
Она мне
uniform.
пока велика.
Well, it's a gift for future you. When you first told me that you were interested in joining the
Вот как раз
Spina,
подрастешь
I
и
was
будешь ее
over-
носить
but
правильно.
It's the Spina's responsibility to protect everyone as well. Being a member means becoming involved in all kinds of dangerous situations. So
М.
I turned you down then by telling you that you'll have to wait until you're older. But this you...
Oh, so that's it. Well, thank you so much, Miss
But you can't really grow up faster by working hard. You've got to be
Everyone, I'm really grateful that you remembered my daughter's wish and took its thanks to the protection of the Spina. Even though her father's no longer with us,
Да, так
we've
что
still
вырастешь
felt plenty of warmth.
Oh, it's the
и
least we
вступишь в
can do.
наши ряды.
As long as you live in Poisson, even if you're not an official member, you're still...
Boss!
Что там случилось?
Huh?
На нас
Is
напали?
something up, Florent?
I've got something urgent to report. Romeo and his folks have gathered
Горы
outside Poisson.
взрывчатки. Ах, они
What?
гады такие.
Explosives? What do they want?
It seems like they've been planning this for
Сейчас
some
мы им
time.
надерем там
We
одно
started
место.
investigating as soon as we received your letter yesterday. But Romeo and his folks must have gotten wind as well. Because we investigated their tracks and found out that they're after Poisson.
They have smartened up since we caught them red-handed at the...
Seems like they've got no interest in sitting down and talking at all.
Sorry, I underestimated the situation. Well,
On the hill to the
Показывай, где
east
они
of
хранят
Poisson, near the
взрывчатку.
Clementine line.
Неужели?
they want to blow up the
Они
Clementine
собираются
line?
взорвать линию Клементина?
Certainly sounds like it.
Похоже на то.
Romeo and his followers hate the Spina and everything to do with Callus. And the if they manage to blow
Ну,
up the
сейчас мы им
Aquabus line,
покажем.
all the...
Are they insane? There's tons of innocent people in...
Yeah. If they've
Естественно,
been
мы
planning
должны
this
их
for ages,
остановить,
they're
иначе тут
definitely
опять
not...
всех
We have to
затопит.
issue an evacuation order to the townspeople and get them as far away
Let's get everyone onto our ship. That should be the safest place.
На большом корабле? Давайте.
My dear partner,
Can I leave the... If the explosives do
Конечно,
go
мы
off,
все
not
сделаем.
only would the people of Poisson be in
Спасай
danger,
людей.
let's stop their insanity first, then settle the score with them.
Хорошо.
Leave it to us, Navia. Please stay.
Будьте, пожалуйста, осторожными.
Let's go, you two. We've got to act fast. Miss Coralie, please take Adele to the ship.
Опа. Это что такое?
Boss!
Он что, предатель, что ли? Колтер?
What do you think you're doing, Coulter?
Что ты делаешь?
I thought all the annoying little hindrances had left, but I still couldn't get rid of you.
Ты предатель?
You mean this was all a trick? So that you'd be... Oh. I get it now. You knew...
Not quite. Though I share their positions on some issues, I've never
ты
cared
какой
for you.
Колтер.
And that's because out of the entire
А почему ты так ненавидишь Навию-то?
I only...
You better stick close to me.
Romeo promised me that he would leave Poisson alone if I could just take you out. But it was like you were glued at the hip to that pesky traveler. You never gave me a chance to... Romeo has lost his patience. I didn't have to be here today, you know. But I swore that I'd kill you, even if it meant being bit.
Why?
Почему ты
Only
ее так
someone as
ненавидишь?
clueless about the past as you would ask such a fool. You never saw the heyday of Spina di Rosula, nor did you ever live through the golden age of Poisson. But I saw it all
золотой век
with my
своими
own
глазами,
eyes, and then I had to watch it all
а потом видел, как
die,
все
little
постепенно
by
пришло в
little.
упадок.
And it was all because of
И все
you,
из-за тебя.
Навия.
Почему из-за нее-то?
Clementine died because of
Из-за
you.
тебя умерла
Callus
Клементина,
died
из-за
because
тебя
of
погиб
you.
Каллас,
Melus
из-за
and
тебя не
Silver
стало
died
Мелюса
because
Сильвера.
of you. And so many more.
So the shock and grief you showed us before, that was an act too?
Now you're catching on. I heard Melus was dead the moment I got out. Did you know? Down there in that blasted fortress, I spent a long time thinking about what happened. Back then, because of that aqua bus, we had a huge fallout. I was convinced that all he cared about was loyalty, and the years passed by
Вот
in a
себе тут
blur
прям
after
страсти
that.
накаляются.
I thought I had finally begun to understand him, and that he could help me relive the good old days again. But then he died, and it was because of you again, Navia. It's
Всегда все
always
из-за
because of
Навии.
you. I once loved the Spina and Poisson more than anyone else. But what is left now of either besides death and...
Don't listen to him, boss! He's just spouting nonsense!
Have you ever
Да,
considered
какую-то
that
чушь ты
maybe
несешь.
the people around you don't
Что
actually
люди
care
вокруг на
about
самом
you
деле
at
вовсе
all?
тебя не любят.
Have you ever considered that maybe you only get respect because you're Callus and Clementine's child? Have you ever considered that
Пытаешься ее
maybe
втоптать в
people don't
грязь.
stay in Poisson because of you, but only because they have such beautiful memories?
Because if you do falter, there'll inevitably come a time when you'll have to face the consequences. Yeah, looking back on it now, but is that really why they support me?
Shut your mouth! I, for one, really
Да,
like
точно,
Miss
замолчи.
Navia. I don't know how to explain it, but I like her, and that's that.
I'm sure Mr. Malus would be extremely disappointed in you right now. You've somehow managed to pin the blame for every mistake and tragedy in our history.
Get out of the way, Florent. I don't want to hurt you.
You're gonna have to. Boss, there's no time for this. Stop hesitating and get out of...
Maybe you think you're being the realist by painting the history of the but the love that I felt from everyone was just as real. I felt it. And even now, I will continue to believe in that love. So
Сейчас мы тебе покажем.
This one's got your name on it. Hiya! Ha! Umbrella warfare, I guess. Hiya! Cha! This one's got your name
Получай.
on it. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Ульту посмотреть, давай.
That's the way.
Бабах.
Where'd that come from? from. I'm feeling lucky.
Ты тоже получай. А то ишь ты. Отдыхайте теперь лежите.
Laurent, I'll leave the town to you. Summon the other. If you find any of Coulter's accomplices, subdue them quickly. And don't... I can't allow my partner to face the danger on the Clementine line.
Got it, boss. I'm on it. Are you okay, Navia?
Нави в порядке? Да, конечно.
I don't know. But I have to go.
Let's hurry up there. We have to protect the Clementine line.
Так.
If they're gonna blow up the waterway, they must have planted the explosives next to the support pillars.
Идем искать взрывчатку.
Strike a pose.
Вы тут чего?
Shine down!
Мешаетесь тут.
One with nature.
Побежали дальше.
Into the wind.
Ходят тут, мешаются еще всякие.
We certainly brought a lot of muscle. They're really slowing us down. But if we're meeting resistance, we must be heading in the right direction.
Вот они стоят. Друзья, товарищи.
One with nature. There is no escape.
Так, все.
These must be the explosives, right? And this is the control
Пульт
mechanism.
управления. Как его отключить?
Oh, Paimon's too scared to touch any of this stuff.
Ага, сейчас мы отключим. Что это? Замок.
There's a strangely shaped hole here. What is it for?
Может,
Oh,
это
that
аварийный
certainly sounds
выключатель?
possible. Maybe one of the... Okay, you take this side, Paimon will take the other. Let's...
Ключик нужно поискать срочно. Ты что-нибудь нашла?
Turn this guy over.
Так, надо его перевернуть.
Super heavy.
Так, найдите ключ. Редиску с собой носит.
Oh, you found it.
Так, нашли, да. Чего она там пищит там? Все, закрыли.
That should do it,
Все,
right?
остановили.
Navi and Florent should be able to relax now. Oh, you're right. They could have said explosive.
Пойдем еще посмотрим. Наверняка где-то еще что-то есть. Ой, 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 что это? Ух, нифига себе. Ого. Так, давай быстрее, быстрее. Ты. Давай. Не получилось. Там гора целая сейчас упадет. Оливия, давай что-то скорей.
Just leave the rest to me.
Дальше я сама.
Navia, you can't block the
Навия.
Look,
Ну-ка.
I'm doing this the Spina way.
Ого. Молодец какая. Классно как. Ого. Огонь. Как же классно. Навия, вставай. Это было шикарно. Так, сейчас их всех тут арестуют. Правильно.
I heard from Thierry that even they're your enemies now. They were once a part of Spina di Rosula.
Нет.
Do you plan to...
I have nothing more to say to them. Regardless of whether their hatred and anger towards me or the Spina was justified, anyone who's willing to endanger innocent civilians is
Пусть их
please
забирают.
prosecute them in accordance to the law.
Пусть их судит
Spina
Нёвелет.
di Rosula will not raise any objection.
Sounds good. We're very appreciative of your help. Without it, the consequences would have been far worse. All right, this operation is a wrap. Take him away.
We won, Navia! We saved everyone!
Мы всех
You were
победили,
so
да?
cool.
Yeah. Luckily, we were just in time.
Ты устала?
It's probably because I expended too much elemental energy at once. I'll be fine. Don't worry.
But
Отдыхай.
you usually glow up whenever other people compliment you. Paimon's not used to seeing you like this.
Boss, we managed to catch all the infiltrators in the town. The Maison Gardiennage is taking them away as well.
Это хорошо, что всех их увели.
Seems like Romeu really went all in on this mission. If he sent literally everyone he had, though, that also means we've caught them all, too.
Got it. That's good at least.
Колтер.
Coulter,
Мгм.
I can understand how you feel. The things I am not callous, and I will also never become him. The Spina and the Poisson that you loved are both gone. But I will not change how I feel about our future. I still believe that this is a great... I will spend more of what the Spina earns
Краб
on the
такой ползет.
betterment of Poisson. What's more, I'd also like to propose some changes to the Aquabus routes so that one day the people of Poisson will enjoy the boons it brings as well.
I know what you're trying to say. Mr. Callus would never have said anything like that. There are too many things in life that are just beyond our control. In that, we are the same.
Henceforth, you are no longer a member of Spina di
Да, так что
Rosula.
уходи.
But once you're discharged from the fortress again, you're welcome.
Thank you, Navia.
As I thought. Boss
Да, у
really
нее
is...
доброе
She
сердце.
is also, I must say, a truly...
Ну почему не
Thank you
счастливая?
for protecting the Clementine line. I was actually really scared, you know. I mean, even the Callus line won't be getting rebuilt anytime soon. If I'd lost the Clementine line too, I wouldn't know how to live with myself. A name is a way to etch a memory onto the world. Losing the line that bears her name, that I can see every day, seeing it still standing there, tall and proud, it makes me really happy.
What happened while we were gone? Honestly, you look more upset than tired.
Just give her some time.
Дай ей немного времени. Угу.
Thank you so much. Traveler, I want to ask you something. And please, tell me
Только
the
ответить
truth.
тебе правду. Сейчас
Do you really
ответим.
see me as your partner?
Да, конечно, мы тебя серьезно считаем своей напарницей. Ой, Оливия, ты заговорила. Обалдеть.
That's good then. Hearing that, it brings me more relief than I...
How do you feel, Navia? any better
Навия, ты
after taking a
отдохнула?
break?
I feel quite a bit better. But I should
Отдыхай.
probably still... Sorry, partner. I said some weird things earlier. Feel free to just ignore me. I used to think that I'd never doubt myself. Coulter mentioned my parents, as well as Malus and Silver. Do you think they ever regretted the
Don't think like that, Navia. You've already done
Да,
more
действительно,
than
Навия,
enough.
что у тебя за мысли такие? Ты же только что спасла в очередной раз Пуассон.
No matter what others think, we'll always support you to the end of the world.
Мгм.
Well, since it's ended up like this, I suppose
ты
it's time
хочешь
for me to make a
признаться в
confession
чём?
as well. There's something that I've been keeping from you as well, boss.
Следуйте за мной, все уже готово.
Please,
Что такое?
Florent, I hope you can understand that I can't...
don't worry. This surprise will be a
Приятный
pleasant one.
сюрприз. Что такое за приятный сюрприз? Идем посмотрим, куда нам идти. Что за приятный сюрприз вы нам подготовили? Что же здесь такое, интересно? Какой же нас тут ждет сюрприз? Так. Тут все
Why
собрались.
is everyone gathered here?
Так,
And
почему
what-
здесь все собрались?
This?
А что это такое? Это памятник, скорее всего, да?
This was supposed to be a gift to you from everyone in the town.
Это
We
подарок.
were originally planning to show it to you once it was finished, but special times call for special measures. I've never seen you look so defeated before.
Do I really look that...
Well, if you're ready, I'll unveil the present.
Мы готовы. Показывай. Ой. Так. И Навия. Здорово. Да.
This is Papa, Mother, and me.
Мгм.
We
Очень
designed the
красиво.
look for Miss Clementine based on old camera records, as well as personal recollections from members of the Spina.
Wow! This is the statue you mentioned before?
It is indeed. To be honest, we decided on the design a long time ago, and gave the sculptor permission to begin working. We only asked Boss to decide on a design so she wouldn't realize we had already started.
How could we only have statues of Mr. Callis and Mrs. Clementine?
Even though Boss is still young, we've all seen the work she's put in regarding...
We wanted to commemorate her contributions with a statue as well.
Вы просто молодцы.
I don't know what Spina di Rosula was like in the past, but I know it's a great organization now.
With Navia around, we're not worried about this place's future.
We're gathered here today to tell our boss that we support you and believe in you wholeheartedly. I believe everyone is here for you, not the glory days.
That's what we believe as well.
Мгм.
Thank you so much, everyone. Then I'll be brave. This really is quite the surprise. I never thought
Это будет
that
очень
I'd have the
красивый
chance to
памятник.
stand next to my mother. Not even in my wildest dream.
Вот и все. Очень красиво. Да. Вот такая вот история у нас про Навию. Да, ребят, у нас скоро Новый год. Я всех поздравляю с наступающим Новым годом. Хоть я и большая уже взрослая девочка, но все равно тоже жду какого-то чудесного подарка. И вам желаю того же. Всем большое спасибо за просмотр. Всем пока-пока. Еще увидимся.